You got a heavy responsibility, my brother, because you know who you are according to the Bible. Who are you? Israelites. If you're an Israelite, that means what? You got to keep the commandments. That means not only you got to keep the commandments, you got power with God and with men.
Right.
You got power by you being an Israelite. Ain't no power being a black man or Asiatic, black man, Afro-American or Negro, no trap boy, no jump off or whatever. Ain't no power in that. Power comes from being an Israelite keeping God's commandments. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's important for us to be, you know, the rightful leaders in this society. Because guess what? Like I said, like we read in Sirach chapter 30, you know, if you teach your kids, you grieve the enemy. See, this is what the enemy knows about us. All praise to the Most High, man, because what my brother brought out, you know, what he brought out is a result of something that's very detrimental that happened to our community. What happened, the white man took the black fathers out the home. The reason why we got single baby mamas, because there ain't no fathers to teach them right. The reason why we got young men 15 years old with ankle braces on their ankle, there wasn't no father around to teach them right. Because I know my brother asked y'all earlier, how many of y'all grew up with y'all fathers? None of y'all grew up with y'all fathers. And then as a result, y'all live in the conditions because y'all didn't have the instructions of your father. That's why fatherhood is important. Especially my brother in the Bulls 33s. What's your name? Ray. So you got kids, man. So you got a big responsibility. Because you don't want your kids to be in the bottom of society like some of our people growing up being like now. Give me Proverbs 4:1. Because this is important. You know, like that strong man is the father in the house. That strong man is the one that gives guidance and direction for the family. The strong man set up discipline and order, teach the kids wrong from right. But you remove that, guess what? The whole community falls into chaos. Read.
Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 1. Hear, ye children, the instruction of a father.
The instructions of who?
Of a father.
So if you ain't got no father, where your instructions gonna come from? Read on.
And attend to no understanding.
Read.
For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law.
So you're supposed to learn the laws of God from the father. It's the father's job to instruct the household. It's the father's job to teach the children. But all praise to the Most High, I was fortunate enough to have my father. You know, he wasn't in the scripts, but yeah, he taught me some things that set me on a better path to some of my partners that I came up with. But this is the importance of having fathers. Fathers set the order for the nation. Right. Why? Because men are the leaders. Give me that reader of Deuteronomy 6 and 7.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
So the laws of God, the father is supposed to teach the laws of God to the children. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Keeping the commandments of God, keep ankle braces off our young men's feet. Teaching the laws of God, prevent our young daughter from being baby mamas. Teaching the laws of God, prevent our young daughter from being, you know, single parent mothers. Now they got to go to the Department of Human Service to get a Section 8 pack, to be a ward of the system. Fathers teach daughters not to get involved in these traps. Read on.
And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
So every opportunity that you get, the father supposed to always steal instruction for the children. Give me that Proverbs 22 and 5, 22 and 6. Train up a child the way they should go. Because what happened, man, without the fathers, ain't nobody training up the children. The people that training up the children is these so-called what? Street thugs, street Negroes, shooting hunters, these athletes.
Amen.
You know, these young men trying to be like NBA Youngboy. These young men trying to be like Lil Boosie. Young men growing to be like King Von, trying to be like Young Dog. What happened to them? They dead in the street. Chances are they didn't grow up no father either, giving them the instruction on not to fall in them pitfalls to the street. Read.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So the father's job is to train their children in the ways of God. So that way they don't fall to the pitfall to society. That way they don't fall to the streets. They don't fall to the prison system. Our young daughters don't fall to the child support custody battle system. Fathers are important. Why? Because fathers are the leaders of the community. And the reason why we destroy it because that strong man came around and took away the father.
Right.
The white man destroyed our families by taking the fathers out of the household. That's why to get Section 8, what's the qualification for a woman to get Section 8? She got to be a single mother with kids with no father around. That's the requirement. Because you know, single mother with kids, they susceptible to whatever doctrine, to whatever trap that the white man set up. Say, hey, you don't need that man. You ain't gotta provide for you. I can provide for you. I give you a wick, I give you a food stamp, I give you a tanner, I give you an apartment, you paying $50 a month, as long as you don't keep that black man around. And as a result, that destroyed our society. Look around. Look around. Did this Section 8 project, yes or no? It ain't. Well, I take that back. Well, the Section 8 project, you can't have men around. Because you bring in the men, guess what? You teach the knowledge to the children. You teach the children to avoid the pitfalls that they got set up for them. Read on.
Verse 7. Verse 7?
Yeah.
Verse 7. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
Read that verse 6 again.
Verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So we got to train those children in the ways of the Most High God. Give me Sirach 30. We're going to read it on down. Because it's important for the young men to get the knowledge of their fathers. But the fathers ain't there. Who's going to teach them? That's why those who are fathers, you got to get this knowledge of God to instill in your children. Because no father wants their child to grow up to be no street nigga. Right. No child wants their daughter to grow up to be no thought, no hoe, no busted baby, no baby mama. That's a shame. No father wants that. But without the fathers in the home, that's what's going to happen. Because nobody's giving them that righteous instruction. Read.
Sirach chapter 30 and verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end.
So if you got children, you got to correct your children in the ways of the Lord. That's why he that loveth his son make him feel the rod of correction. You got to teach your kids there's consequences for bad actions. But without the father, kids doing whatever the hell they want to do. And the time they find out they get correction, it be in the prison system. They get corrected when they stand before the judge, give them 25 to life. Or they get corrected when they on house arrest at 15 years old. Because why? Because ain't no father around to give them instruction. Read on.
Verse 2. He that chastises his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintances.
So if you're a father, you got to correct your son in the ways of the Lord. You got to chastise your son. That means punish him when he do wrong. And guess what? If you don't teach children, punishment for evil actions, when they get out in the world, the white man gonna teach them. Either the white man gonna teach them with that police bullet, or he gonna get jail time. That's why it's important for the men to teach the kids now while they're young, because once they get grown, once they get old, they'll know how to move and operate in society and not fall into the pitfalls in the trap that they got laid for our people. Read on.
Verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
The man that teaches his son grieveth the enemy. Who's the enemy? The enemy that set up this system that called us 3/5 of man. The enemy is the man that set these laws up to make sure a disproportionate amount of our people go to jail for petty crimes. White folk get slapped a hand on the wrist. Black man can sell an ounce of cocaine, he get 100 years. White man bring it in by the ships, he get house arrest. But these are the enemies that set up these traps, like the music industry. How come black people, us the only race of people, we can get multi-million-dollar contracts by rapping and glorifying music that's detrimental to the destruction of our people? I'ma kill a nigga. I'ma smoke that nigga. I'ma bust the block. I'ma ride on the ops. I'ma put him in the grave. I'ma shoot him till he dead. You become a platinum selling artist because you making music talking about killing your own people. You don't hear the white folks doing that. You don't hear the Chinese doing that. Right. But the enemy, the so-called white man that owns the record labels, they give our young black man incentives to do this. They come to the hoods, they see the young black men say, hey man, I hear your mixtape. I give you $1 million contract right now if you rap about selling dope, killing your brother, and whoring our whip. You think they ain't gonna do that? Why you think Young Von became famous? What he rapped about? Did King Von rap about uplifting the black community? Or did he rap about killing, drug dealing, death, and destruction? What about Young Dolph? Did he rap about uplifting the black community, building a better black community for his people? Or he rap about drug dealing and killing? When he became a multi-millionaire. Lil Boosie claim to fame was putting hits out on black men, getting them killed for street stuff. That's his claim to fame. Yeah, teenager, Marlo Mike. He got a young 15-year-old, made him to be the shooter to kill off his ops. But guess what? He a multi-millionaire now. What are he doing to help bring positivity to the community? Those enemies, the white man, they find the evil amongst our people, and they give them incentives. Hey, we need you to persuade more of your people to follow evil. That way we can fill up the prison system. Because the same folks that own the record labels, guess what else they own? They own the prisons. Right. The people that own the prisons, CCL of America, private prisons, they own the record labels that signed Lil Uzi Vert, Young Dolph, Lil Baby, Dub Baby, King Von, all these drill deal kill rappers. They give them multi-millions of dollars to influence the young men to follow evil. Either they can end up dead or go to jail.
Insurance policy.
Insurance policy. That's why when the father say, hey, you teach your son, you grieve the enemy. Read that again.
Verse 3, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
So if you teach your son the ways of the Lord, you're going to have benefits in your children. Why? Because your kids going to grow up to be righteous men of the Most High God. They're going to be stand-up citizens of the community. Right. And guess what? They're going to be a positive example to the young men. Say, hey, you ain't got to follow the street life. I know I came out of the projects too, but guess what? That ain't no excuse. My father taught me the ways of the Lord, and I use that knowledge to better myself. And guess what? If I can do it, you can do it too. Because our people, especially our people that live in the hood, we get depressed. We thinking ain't no way out. There's always a way out. Your present conditions don't always dictate your outcome. That's why you gotta change the way you think. Because if you change the way you think, you can change the way you live.
That's right.
And you gotta change your mind to coming back and keeping the commandments of God. That's why what the Bible said, the man that teaches his son grieves the enemy. Because this society is run off of us sinning. This society is run off of us doing evil. The more we do evil, the more the money the white man makes. The more we do evil, the more richer the white man gets. That's why they don't want us teaching our children the Bible. That's why they separate the fathers from the family. Read on.
Verse 5, while he lived. Verse 4, though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead.
So like I say, if a man teaches his son the knowledge, the trade, you know, if he died, guess what? He gonna rest easy. Why? Because you know he taught his son the right way. He know his legacy gonna live on. He'll be able to pass on the knowledge of his legacy to the next generation. Because I taught my son gonna carry the torch to the future, to the next generation of young black men, to be stand-up pillars in society, not to be street niggas, killers, and thugs. Read on.
Though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he has left one behind him that is like himself.
Read.
While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him.
So it's the pride of a father to see your son growing up being successful. You got sons, right? So you want to see your son grow to be successful in life. Say, hey man, that's my boy, man. He did exactly like I taught him. Look at him now, he's being successful. You know, it's a pride. A father take pride to see his son doing good. It's a prime example. You know, when I was in school, I made good grades. My father used to rejoice. He used to brag about all the friends. Hey man, my son on the honor roll, he made straight A's. You know, my son, he got first place in the science fair because he's doing good in school. Fathers take pride in that thing. Read on.
While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies.
So, you know why the father wasn't sorrowful? Because when he died, he knew his son gonna carry on the torch. He knew his son was gonna hold it down in his absence. But like my brother brought out earlier, you bind the strong man, you take the black fathers out. Who gonna teach these young men to set up the dynasty? Who gonna teach these young men to inherit the legacy to keep the thing pushing? That's why you know the inner city, the hood. The reason the hood is a hood because there ain't no fathers around teaching the young men the way. That's why for those who got kids, you got a heavy responsibility. It behooves you to learn the commandments of God, not only to apply it to yourself. That way you can have that knowledge to teach your kids. That way your kids don't be statistics or being prison inmates or statistics or being contributors to gun violence or crime in their community. It's important for us. Same thing with your daughter. Give me a Sirach 7 and 24. You got a daughter, right? That's your daughter. How old your daughter is?
11.
7, 11. So young sister, what you want to be when you grow up? What? What'd you say?
Nurse practitioner.
A nurse practitioner. That's a good field. You ain't got no boyfriends, do you? You ain't dealing with no boys. Ain't no boys done touch you. So that's why it's a job of a father to make sure your daughter stay pure. Because like the reason why a lot of our women, they single mothers, because they ain't had no father to watch over them. They ain't had no father to watch out from the niggas that they know ain't gonna mean them no good. Cause we all men. We know what men look for in women. Because once upon a time we did the same thing. You know, men recognize, men know how to peep game of another man. Yeah. But if a daughter ain't got no father, you know, she wide open for the trap. She wide open to get got. Read.
Sirach to the 7 and verse 24. Has thou
23.
Verse 23. Hast thou children, instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth.
So If you got kids, you got to give them instructions of the laws of God. You got to set up that. You got to set forth that example of discipline, structure, and order, like your daughter. You know, if she a young girl, she got to dress in the way that a young girl's supposed to dress according to the Bible. She can't be out here wearing no whole clothes, showing her body, showing her figure to these no good men out here, to these young boys that grown up without a father. That the only example that they have is the niggas on the street saying, hey, the only way you can prove your manhood is how many hoes you can smash. Fathers protect their daughters from people like that. Read on.
Verse 24, hast thou daughters?
You got daughters, right? Read on.
Have a care of their body.
You got to have a care of their body. So how you do that? How you have a care for your daughter's body? You give your daughter a curfew. Say, hey, you don't need to be out on the streets at such and such a time. You don't need to be FaceTiming no boys on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. You don't need to be having no boyfriends. You don't need to be sleeping with your door closed. You ain't got no privacy in my house. I'm watching over you. You don't need to be going outside dressing like this. You don't need to be wearing this style of makeup. You don't need to be listening to this type of music. Because what type of music they got out for young girls today? You know, you got Suki Hunter, her claim to fame, talking about eat a nigga ass. That what young girls listen to, eat a nigga ass. And then you got you got Sexy Red talking about Pound Town. And all that other stuff, suck toes. There ain't enough no young girls to listen to. You don't want your girl to be going around talking about eating niggas' ass. But that's why you got to teach your daughter the commandments of God. Read their scriptures.
Verse 24, hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body.
They got to have a care for their body. Read on.
And show not thyself cheerful toward them.
So that means don't be soft on your daughter. You got to be stern and strict. Don't let your daughter cry to you to persuade your emotion to avoid judgment or to stop her from punishing you, or to stop you from punishing her for evil doing. It's all Dad, I'm sorry. Nah, them tears don't bother me. You finna get this whooping because you disobeyed what I told you. You can't be cheerful towards your daughter because young daughters, they fathers got a soft spot for their daughters, especially if they only got one daughter. And they use that to their advantage. Young girl can be manipulative. Oh, Dad, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. And have them puppy dog tears. And then you fall for it. As soon as you turn your back, she right back out there doing the same old thing you done scolded her for in the first place. That's why you can't be cheerful towards your daughter. You got to have that strict correction on her. Because the world wants their daughters. The world wants your daughters. The world wants to make your daughter a baby mama. The world wants to make your daughter a hoe. But it's up to you to make sure your daughter be a righteous daughter of Sarah, that she save herself for marriage, to find her a good man that's going to have a house and a job, to be able to provide for her and provide for the kids.
No, rivers of living water. Hey, I see you watching the video. Let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Matter of fact, won't you like, subscribe, and share. IUIC Mississippi burning. Like, subscribe, and share. Even comment.
No baby mama, not to be living in no projects or Section 8 pack. Read on.
Verse 25, marry thy daughter.
You gotta marry their daughter. Don't let her have no boyfriend. Don't let her be no jump off. Marry thy daughter. The laws of marriage, holy matrimony. One man, one wife. Read.
Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
So it's a hard thing to give your daughter off, because you gotta make sure you worried. The man that I'm giving my daughter to, is he gonna take care of my daughter the same way that I took care of her? Is he gonna care for her in the same fashion that I care for her? Is he gonna provide for her the same care in the same manner that I provided for her? So if a man want to give off his daughter to another man, he want to see himself in that man. He wants to make sure that that man is established. He able to protect himself and protect the daughter and his kid. Make sure you have a good job to provide, to buy food, clothing, and shelter, the chief things. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that the man that comes to ask your daughter's hand in marriage, he got to have himself established. Right. You can't give your daughter no Negro stand in the basement of his mama's house. He's selling dope in his mama's backyard. He riding around on 24s and on his Tahoe, but yet he's standing at home with his grandma sleeping on their couch. The crazy part about it, women get pregnant by men like this. He ain't got no place to stay. He ain't got no job. What makes you think he'll be a suitable mate for you to get pregnant by? And then you get mad talking about, oh, he ain't shit. He wasn't like that. He was like that before you met him. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's the father's job to instruct their daughters on what not to fall into when it comes to relationships and marriage. That's why fathers are important. The reason why our community is destroyed, there's a lack of fathers leading the way. There's a lack of black men standing up in their community, setting things in order the way God said it's supposed to. So my brother, you got kids, you got a heavy job. So the same knowledge that you need to learn for yourself, you got to teach that to your children. Read on.
But give her to a man of understanding.
So you got to give your daughter to a man of understanding. That's a man who keeps the Bible. That's a man who follows the Bible. That's a man who keeps the laws of God. A man that's going to respect your daughter as his wife and as a daughter of Sarah. That means he ain't going to beat on her. He ain't going to cheat on her. He ain't going to use her. He ain't going to abuse her. He going to make sure she have. She going to make sure that she ain't lacking. He going to be there in her time of need. That's a man of understanding, a man that keep the commandments. You can't give your daughter to a nigga on the street. You can't give your daughter to the neighborhood dope boy, because the neighborhood dope boy got 4 or 5 kids, about 10 different women, and he ain't taking care of none one of them. Don't set your daughters up for failure. That's why if you got daughters, you got to have a care for their body. You got a heavy responsibility, my brother, because you know who you are according to the Bible. Who are you?
Israelite.
Israelites. So if you're an Israelite, that means what? You got to keep the commandments. That means not only you got to keep the commandments, you got power with God and with men.
Right.
You got power by you being an Israelite. Ain't no power being a black man or Asiatic, black man, Afro-American or Negro, no trap boy, no jump off or whatever. Ain't no power in that. Power comes from being an Israelite keeping God's commandments. Read. Genesis 32:28.
Genesis chapter 32 and verse 28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, who as a prince has that power with God and with men and has prevailed.
So you got power with God, my brother. You just got to repent and keep God's commandment. But what happened to the gods? What happened to the gods today? The men. What happened to the black man? Are we living like gods, like the Bible say we supposed to? What happened to us? Give me all Psalms 82. We're going to read that whole chapter. Read.
Psalms chapter 82 and verse 1. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods.
See, the black man was designed to be the congregation of the mighty. The Lord supposed to judge among us, the gods of this earth. God made us to be gods, to set things in order, to create and destroy, to make sure we protect our people, to make sure our people stay prosperous. You know what I'm saying? We are the God. You know, you ever heard that before? They say, what up, God? I'm a God. You know, folks in the hood say that all the time, but the Bible said we are gods. Read.
Verse 2. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked?
But what happened to it, we judge unjustly. We see evil go on in the neighborhood, we don't say nothing. We give a pass to the neighborhood dope boy, or we do business with the neighborhood dope boy. We'll turn the blind eye, we selling crack to the kids or whatever. Or we'll turn the blind eye when we see one of your homeboys trying to holler at another man's wife. The same stuff that caused all the murder, beats, and killing in the hood, we turn the blind eye to it. Read.
Say that. Verse 2.
No, that goes into no snitching. We see evil happening in the community. Instead of make sure that thing be addressed, that no more victims happen from a perpetrator, we say no snitching. I ain't no snitch. What happened if that brother you ain't snitch on, you be his next victim? You gonna want somebody to snitch for you, right? You gonna want somebody to tell it. Everybody seeing what happened in the neighborhood. Everybody got a camera phone. Everybody going live on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But yet, when the police show up, nobody say, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't no snitch. But you went live for the world. But when it comes to help the investigation to make sure justice go out to help stop the evil in your neighborhood, you say, I ain't no snitch. So that means you happy with the destruction of your people. You love the murder and death and evil that happens in your streets. The Bible says we can't be like that, bro. Read.
Verse 3. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy.
We got to defend the poor. We got to help each other out. We got to come together and help those that are less fortunate than us in righteousness. We don't do that. We are capitalize on them. We capitalize on the poor of our people. Say, hey, I know you need this, but in order you to get this from me, you got to give me this, or you got to do this for me. I know you need some money, but you got to do this issue for me. You got to make this run for me. You got to transport this little kilo for me. Then I give you a little money to help you out on your bill. Our people take advantage of the poor. We don't help each other out. Read.
Verse 4. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked.
We don't do that. We don't rid our people out of the hand of the wicked. We set each other up. We set each other up. We set each other up to get robbed. We set each other up to get killed. We don't do that. Read.
Verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness.
We all walk in darkness. The bright glow in the noonday. We trying to find which way. We trying to find which way is up, but the whole time we looking down. All because we ain't keeping God's commandments. Read on.
They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
Because the gods, the black man, the fathers are not active in the community and not active in this world. Guess what? The whole foundation of the earth is out of course. All the chaos that you see happening in the news, that you see happening in the world right now, is a direct result because the black man refused to get right with God. Because the black man refused to stand up and take his God-given position as the rightful rulers and leaders of his community. That's why the foundation of the earth is out of course. That's why things jacked up the way it is, because the black man don't get right. But the moment the black man get his mind right and rise up in righteousness like God said, guess what? The world gonna change. That's why they mad. Why you think they were mad at the Book of Clarence? You ever watched the Book of Clarence? You heard that? You heard about that movie? So what they saying about the Book of Clarence?
Like it was mocking God.
Huh?
Like it was mocking Jesus or something.
They say it was mocking Jesus, but we all know Jesus in the Bible is a black man. Jesus in the Bible is a black man. The Jews are black. But they mad because they don't want the gods to see themselves as gods. Why do you think Tyler Perry always get money to make all these movies about black folks being ratchet and black men being gay? How come these movies, he don't get no backlash? Because they want to see the black man to be in a lower state, not in his God, not his godhood. But the moment some positive imagery come out like the Book of Clarence, showing that the people of the book look like black people, which is biblically accurate, the whole world mad. Why? Because they want to keep the foundations out of court. They don't want the gods to wake up to who they truly are. That's why they mad. Read on.
Psalms chapter 82 and verse 6. I have said, ye are gods.
Hear that? Ye are what?
Ye are gods.
Read that from the beginning.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High.
So we gods, my brother. We the children of the Most High. Read on.
Verse 7. But ye shall die like men.
When we die like men, we return against God, we die like men. That's why the gods dying in the streets right now. That's why the gods filling up the prison pipeline right now. That's why the gods ain't doing what they supposed to do right now. That's why the gods leaving their children fatherless right now. Because we turned away from God's commandments, my brother. You got a heavy responsibility. You got a heavy responsibility. Give me that Romans chapter 8 verse 19. Because the whole world waiting for us to get back right, my brother. The whole world waiting for us to repent and keep God's commandments. Everything you see on the news is direct result on how we live. We impact the world. Without us, there won't be no planet Earth to live on. This whole thing exists because we exist. Read.
Romans chapter 8 and verse 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God.
So everybody's waiting on the manifestation of the sons of God. Them people don't call themselves the Jews today. They ain't the sons of God. That's why the world's still in chaos. The world is waiting on the so-called black man, Hispanic, and Native American man to get their mind right with God. That's the manifestation of the sons of God that the Bible is talking about. It ain't them folks that's going up there in the land of Israel right now. It ain't them folks in church every Sunday shaking a tambourine, telling you the laws of God are done away with. We the only race that want to live without no moral code, no moral standard. Talking about you can't judge me, get it how you live, and you wonder why we destroyed. Because we ain't got nothing to keep us in check. Give me Deuteronomy 29 and 9. Because we kept God's commandments, man, guess what? We'd have been good. We'd have been on top of the world if we did what God said. But as a result, hell with your way, God. I'm doing my way. I'm going to follow the way of the nation. And that's been to our detriment ever since. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 9. Keep therefore the words of this covenant, and do them, that ye may prosper in all that ye do.
So if we keep the words of God, we would prosper in all that we do. So are we prospering right now? Because we turned away from keeping God's commandments. So what we got to do? What we got to do today, my brother? You got to keep the commandments. That's start keeping the commandments. Huh? Hey, come talk. I can barely hear you over there, man. We brothers. We brothers. You bring your daughter too, bring the whole family. So, yeah, 5 and 20. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's important for us to be, you know, the rightful leaders of this society. Because guess what? Like I said, like we read in Sirach chapter 30, you know, if you teach your kids, you grieve the enemy. See, this is what the enemy knows about us. Let's read that in Judah chapter 5, verse 20.
Judah chapter 5 and verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and governor.
So these are some of the enemies of the Israelites that happened. There's some history that happened to our forefathers back then during the time of Judah. You had the Moabites and the other nations trying to come against the children of Israel to figure out our weakness. You know, you had the whole world come together, strategize to take us down. Because during that time, we were the #1 nation. Nobody could beat us. But guess what? We beaten and defeated right now. Why? Because they figured out our weakness. Our weakness was sin. Read.
Judah chapter 5 and verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people.
So any error, that means there be any sin, and we can get the people of God to go against their laws and commandments of God, we got them beat. Read on.
And they sin against their God.
They sin against their God. Read on.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
This should be our ruin. We in ruin right now because we not keeping God's commandments. Read.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them. Verse 21.
So they overcame us because guess what? We didn't keep God's commandments. They overcame us. Look at the sign right here. They overcame us, put on slave ships, and sent us across the 4 corners of the world because we didn't keep God's commandments. Read on. Let's read.
Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation.
No iniquity means no sin. We doing exactly what our God tell us to do. What happened? Read.
Let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God before them.
Our God before us. Our God will come defend us if we keep God's commandments. The reason why we dying, man, because God ain't defending us, man, because we turned our backs. So go to Hosea 5:15. Hosea 5:15. Because like I say, you know, being men is very important because you got a strong responsibility. You got to help set your nation in order because the nation needs the men.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.